These 8 states do not provide creditor protection for your Roth IRAs. Could not believe it. Could not believe it when I read this. So thanks to Denise for sending this to me. I was amazed. All right, so I knew that, and you, well, maybe you don't, but inherited IRAs no longer receive creditor protection. We know that. Unanimous decision in 2014, I believe. Sonia Sotomayor wrote the unanimous decision. Every single one from Clarence Thomas, the man, all the way to RBG and everybody in between. They agreed that there's no creditor protection federal allowed for inherited IRAs. All right, that made sense. IRAs on the federal level do provide about $1 million of creditor protection. There are some judgments that can go into that, what the judge thinks, but generally speaking, IRAs, to include Roth IRAs, do provide you creditor protection. ERISA plans, the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, ERISA, my understanding is they provide unlimited creditor protection. So if it's a qualified plan, a 401k, 403b, TSP, pension plan, there is no creditor. They're not going to seize your property. Again, IRAs give you about $1 million because IRAs are not considered qualified under ERISA. They're not qualified plans. Now, your tax preference, deferred and whatnot, but not qualified plans. So just keep that in the back of mind. IRAs are not qualified plans under the ERISA law of 1974. All right, but that's on the federal level. The state level is different, and this is what's interesting, man. I'm stunned by this. Check this out. We got 8 states that don't allow Roth creditor protection. All right, so right here, we just got this list from IRAfinancialgroup.com. IRAfinancialgroup.com. So good stuff for these guys. This Dateline 2019. I don't know if they've changed it or not, but in terms of they've updated this, I don't know, but let's just check this out. So we got, look at that, Alabama, state Roth IRA exemption. No. Alabama's one. California, no. Let's see. Georgia, no. Hawaii, no. Idaho, no. Indiana, no. West Virginia and Wyoming, the other 2. And then if you go down to Wyoming and West Virginia, Wyoming doesn't give you any creditor protection for IRAs either. Wyoming. We got crazy lib states, California, Hawaii, and then right-wing West Virginia, Wyoming. None of them provide you creditor protection on Roth, and Wyoming's even worse. Now, some of these are even worse on IRAs. Here's Virginia. Limited to interest in one or more plans sufficient to produce annual benefit of up to $25,000. So if you have an IRA that's $1 million and it gives you an annual benefit of $50,000, only half of that will provide you the creditor protection. We got right here, West Virginia, principal is 100. This is just for regular IRAs. None of those 8 states I just said are for Roth. Principal 100% protected. Exemption for distributions limited to the extent necessary for support. Isn't that interesting? Exemption for distributions are limited to the extent of the support, which means there is some negative stuff there that says, hey, you want to go party like it's 1999? That's not necessary support. Utah, the exemption does not apply to amounts contributed or benefits accrued on behalf of debtor within 1 year of filing for bankruptcy. So you can't load up your IRA 364 days and then file for bankruptcy. That will still be subject to lawsuits. Tennessee, distributions are 100% exempt to the extent they are on account of age, death, length of service, and debtor has no right or option to receive other than periodic payments on or after age 50. I can't. Retirement benefits in South Dakota up to $1 million, and that's for both Roth and IRAs. IRA exempt South Carolina limited to the extent necessary for support. Again, for support. For solo 401k plans, not limited to the necessary extent for support because that's an ERISA plan. All right, so there's lots of different things there for creditor protection. Your IRA might not be excluded. We saw specifically 8 states don't exclude Roth, but then you got some of these states you're like, man, that seems kind of Pennsylvania, 100% except for amounts that are contributed within 1 year of filing for bankruptcy. Ooh, Ohio, SEP and simple IRAs are not protected. Look at that. North Dakota, retirement funds that are in effect for 1 year to the extent, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. So the value of those assets that are exempt may not exceed $100,000. That's North Dakota. Nevada's $500,000. Nebraska bound to the extent for support. So a judge would have to go say, hey, look, you got an $8 million IRA or not? That's not shielded. Exemption limited necessary support in Missouri. Anyway, $60,000 in Minnesota, adjusted for inflation. Crazy, man. Let's look at the great state of Maine here. Exempt only to the extent necessary for support of the debtor or any dependent. So lots of issues there when it comes to creditor protection. Your IRA might not be as exempt as what you thought. So again, thanks Denise for sending me that article. Great piece. We'll see ya.